Okay, welcome back to a little update video today. We will very shortly talk about the price action of AMC today. We will make a micro tracking update on BYND. Yeah, someone of you wanted this, just saying. Because of the earnings, we make a little update on NEO. Because someone wished it, we will look at HIMS. And before we start with all of that, we will look at the 3 biggest fractal mistakes or errors I made. If you're interested, just stay tuned. As always, I'm using the Fractal Method. I will link the explanation video at the end of the video, or you just search for the Fractal Method on my channel. There is the tutorial video. Okay, well then let's jump into DJT first. So before we start, don't worry, this is not the tracking from now. The old tracking, is still valid. I'm just showing this was the tracking I made in the first videos. And it was one of the 3 biggest fractal mistakes. Why I'm starting with this right now? It's just because I saw that, especially in the last 2 weeks, I already got a lot of haters on my channel. And to say that, I didn't even thought that I would come that, how would you say that, that far that I even get haters. I mean, I'm still such a tiny channel right now, but I'm still happy that I even get haters. Yeah, I like you all, really. It is fun. The only thing is, I'm not talking about haters who are saying this tracking was wrong or I have another opinion. That's absolutely okay. Yeah? I live in a world for free speech. You can say everything. The only thing which is not okay if you start with bad words, for example, or liar, or scammer, or idiot, or such things. In that case, you are instantly banned. Everything else, not agreeing, having another opinion, thinking the method is not working, is everything okay? Absolutely. So, the another thing is, I already made, I think it's up to 300 videos already. I showed this tracking at the absolutely beginning, and later I also showed why it was wrong. I already said that. But of course, with 300 videos, some people didn't saw this video. It's absolutely normal, especially on a tracking channel. You are not looking all old 300 videos. Yeah, I mean, would be nice, yeah, for me, but normally only 1% of all viewers are even looking at older videos. Why should they? Yeah, they are uninterested and not up to date anymore. So why? So okay, that's why this video. So I'm explaining again why. And also, one last thing before we go into tracking. I started with this channel because I saw so many predictors. When they're making a mistake, they never talk about the stock anymore, or in the worst case, they're even deleting the videos. And I said to myself that one really important rule: I will never delete videos, and if I make a mistake or an error, I will show that every time. Maybe it's just me, but people who are never making mistakes, I don't trust. So I won't delete any video. And I even could have do that. I have done that with the first videos because bad quality, bad sound, bad presentation, very low views. So I could have deleted them, but I don't do that. So this was one of my first videos, and this was the old tracking of DJT. The biggest mistake back then was I tracked this as two fractals. I tracked this as fractal 1, and this was for me fractal 2. Yeah. Back then, I mean, it was August, I think. DJT was here, something like that. And the next mistake was I was way too bullish and way too looking only at one move without an alternative. Yeah. So the main problem is C3.AI was the second mistake and BULL the third one, and all of them was the same problem. I didn't really zoomed out enough, and I had a, not a mirror vision, I had a tunnel vision. Yeah, this has to be fractal 1, and this has to be fractal 2, and it has to go up. Happens. The fractal is always right, in my opinion. The only error is the tracker itself. So, for the real updated version for DJT, you all know, except the people who are always already following since the beginning. This is just one fractal, and not even one fractal. If the bullish tracking is right, this big one fractal should be finished. What does that mean? This fractal is finished, so in that case, we would be somewhere here right now. Means this whole thing should repeat. So let's do a little update, of course, before we go into micro tracking down here. First of all, if this little higher low is enough, we will look in a second. If not, you have to do a bigger higher low. Yeah. In that case, this is just the bigger higher low of just this T. Yeah. After you finish that, you are doing the macro higher low. What I mean with a macro higher low, I mean the higher low of the whole thing. And in my personal opinion, this little tiny shit here is not big enough for this whole thing. For this macro higher low, you have two versions. Yeah? Version 1 would be without special rules. You have your ABC, you have your M and your T. And this is the main trend line. Means your big macro higher low isn't allowed to break this trend line. Yeah? And then you fall back to your 786 fib again. Also to say that before we continue, as you see in DJT, all your big moves or all the upside moves are quite always straight lines to the upside. So this could take a normal A, B, C, or we're just doing a straight candle to the upside. Doesn't matter what news it would be. The pullback, on the other hand, this is always taking some time. So the pullback could take a while. This would be version 1. After that, you make your breakout. Your A is over 60 and your B is over 80. Also here, for the rules 1 to 1, you make your breakout over your T, you're doing your 0.5, 0.618 pullback, go up to your M, should be over M, 0.5 pullback, breaking all-time highs or not. Also here the thing, we could repeat IPO, and that would mean you just go. I can't rule that completely out. I wouldn't bet on it, but the fractal of DJT is always doing the same shit. So let's see. So this would be version 1 for the higher low. Version 2 is with the special rule, what if T is too short to touch the main trend line? In that case, I saw that very often in my tracking, you put a new trend line, which is only connecting your M to your T. In that case, your macro higher low isn't allowed to break over this line. That means you won't break over 27. Also, it depends on if you're doing a slow higher low or just a straight line higher low. And the pullback will be slow again. And then again, ABC or just one candle up. Okay, now to the micro tracking for DJT. Also here again, in the best case, February 17, 2026 was our low. And we're just doing higher lows now. If not, we're doing a FFAI move, and we will break. If you touch $9.80, you make a new low. And well, we have to see where the low is. Can be $9, can be $5. We just have no resistance line down here. So don't touch or break 980. I mean, we maybe could say what it could be, because if you look at this, you have a higher low, you have a big higher low, and if you're doing now another higher low, in that case, you have to go to $10. What is this? This is a head and shoulders. So if we do that, it could get dangerous. Because if after this move you touch 980 or break it, I tell you, this head and shoulder could really play out. In that case, your next target would be 850. Yeah, it's just a guess, but head and shoulders work like that. I wouldn't tend to do that, but always have an alternative. Otherwise, you're finishing this higher low. As I showed, you may be doing now the big higher low. In that case, you would go up to this trend line, and your pullback target would be 1046. And after that, you start your big one. Okay, that's the DJT. Next one is C3.AI. So, also here, same mistake as DJT. This is the old tracking from the first videos. This is the clear new tracking. This one, true. This, wrong. The mistake back then also was, I tracked this as the first fractal, and I tracked this as second fractal. I mean, in that case, this wasn't even wrong, really. Because you could do that. It would still be right. I still think the newer tracking is more accurate, but still, this was just a lower high in the C, and it went lower than expected. But I also showed back then that you could track this as symmetry, which would mean you take this and flip it here. In that case, you should have gone up here, which we clearly didn't. So I thought that too shortly. And I changed this one. I changed quite lately. I think I changed that in January. But also, I showed this mistake. But well, 300 videos. It's too much, so everyone can look at it. For the new tracking, it's not completely full with lines and so on. And we have one clear bullish one and one clear bearish one for this. And the funny thing is, both tracking should go up into 2027, January. We start with the bearish one. With the bearish tracking, this is your all-time high, your lower high, your midpoint. Maybe even this could be your midpoint. For the bearish tracking, I would even say this is more accurate for your bearish version, just because this would be a big M and this would be a big T. It's working better. But you will go up from here. in my opinion, till early 2027, maybe already late 2026, you won't break this trend line. So your biggest price target would be 28, 29. You will reject here. After that, you will knife to a new all-time low. Then you do your higher low. In my opinion, this would be the full year of 2027. And the higher low would be 2028. It's a long play, just saying. And after that, your A is over 28, your B over 50, and then the only question is, are you breaking all-time highs or not? That's the bullish version, the bearish version. This one here is the bullish version. In that case, you also go up till 2027. And you also reject this trend line. The only difference is that you won't break to new all-time lows. You will go exactly to $10 and finishing your higher low. This maybe takes only summer 2027, and then you already get a breakout, maybe, but we have to look at landmarks. But all in all, would mean that what we have done in February was our all-time low. The shitty part about this is, I mean, no financial advice, you could easily play this upside. You easily can play this downside to the 786. Because then you don't know, are you doing all-time lows or not, in my opinion. And if you're doing all-time lows, just wait for the higher low and then you can play AB. Okay, this is C3.AI, and last of my big mistakes was Weber. So, bull, Weber, third mistake. And even I made here two mistakes. First of all, I always saying I don't like stocks which are not older than 3 years, because not enough price action. And Weber is not even older than 1 year. And the second one is the same like DJT, the same like C3.AI. I tracked this as 1 and this as second fractal. And I mean, I made money here, but for me, this peak here was an A. I changed that here because clearly here was wrong. And for the real tracking, as DJT and as C3.AI, it's 1 fractal. The only problem with Weber right now still is it's the same like FFAI. The bottom is not confirmed yet. That's why I also said hands off right now. Also, before we go into micro tracking, for me, fractal error is not if we're breaking certain levels, upside or downside, doesn't matter, because this is just breaking levels. And I try to always provide alternatives for everything. For me, really fractal errors is something I showed in DJT and C3.AI, or something when I say this was 1 fractal finished and it's starting a new one, and this is not right. This is for me really a mistake and error. For bull right now, before we go into the micro tracking, the big overview tracking still stands. Whenever your bottom is in here, your next target is still A, and that is still over 10, and your next target is still B, which is at over 18. The same like DGT, I can't rule out if we're doing an A pullback, B pullback, and C, or we're just doing something stupid like the IPO where we just do this. I can't rule it out. I wouldn't bet with it. One thing is sure, I said that this A is end of April, I think was the last prediction. With the break of this low, this time frame is gone. Before I can give another time frame prediction, we have to see confirmation for the absolute low. For the absolute low, we have now the same problem like AMC or FFAI. If you look here, you have a double bottom. I'm not saying that every stock is bearish if you see a double bottom. AMC clearly is. But also here, if you look at February 5th, this was also a double bottom. And I think I found it 2 or 3 times in the tracking too. So I'm more tending to that this wasn't our low. We will see it. I mean, if this was the bottom, we are forming right now a higher low. Yeah. For this, we still have to come lower. Yeah. Means 5.538. Yeah. A little bit lower, of course, but you're not allowed to touch or break 530. Yeah. So 535, 534, still okay. 530, no. And that's why I'm saying hands off right now. Yeah. For levels to the upside, if you're doing this higher low finish, you will, same as near what I'm showing today still, you will make a breakout. This would be a small A. Yeah. It should go over $7, then breakout retest. So if you go over 646, that would be bullish. Yeah. And then, of course, you make the pullback, you make your little B. We will come to that in BYND, yeah, because someone was interested in micro tracking, but it would look like that, most likely. Yeah. Let's see. I would really wait for the breakout retest for Weber because right now, no confirmation. Okay. That was the 3 mistakes. Yeah. Okay, so let's jump to the normal stocks like AMC. Before we go into the micro tracking, what we have done today, again, if you want the big picture, price targets, 1-part squeeze, 2-part squeeze, I will link the big fractal tracking video at the end of the video. Today, we only look what we have done. And sadly, I have to say, I don't have good news. I mean, I said this double bottom will break to a new low. Only problem with this is I don't want it to see this low. Yeah, because first of all, double bottom, the same as this double bottom, same as this double bottom, same as this double bottom. Yeah. And it's the even if this would be not a double bottom, it would be the same like this, this, and this. Yeah. I already showed it in the last video and I will show it in a second too. We want a clear knife and a clear V. Not shit like that. Yeah. So now what I mean with that. And I mean this. Yeah. So left side is 30-minute now, middle is 2024, and right side is 2025. And I also will show 2021 in a second, but all of these V's of our main 3 squeezes are always the same. Yeah? You have a big knife, you have not a double bottom, one single candle down, and a nice V. Here, here. And this isn't looking like this at all. Yeah. So before we go into 2021, in the best case, for me personally, tomorrow is Thursday, we just do this till Friday and this would be the perfect. Yeah. My price target is still something between $1.06 to $1. Still don't think that we break $1. Could be wrong. But yeah, a nice knife, an instant V. If we're doing this till Friday, and on Friday we might even do this, I will tell you, I will sit here on the weekend and will tell you I see no chance for next week. For me personally, double bottoms are a no-go for the main V for AMC. Yeah. And for 2021, here's 2021 on the 1 hour chart, the same thing. Yeah. I think we did this in the last weeks. Now we broke down, and in the best case, we would be right now here. Yeah, right now here, I would say January 5th. Yeah? And we need only this last candle. Yeah. In the bad version, we would be right now here. Yeah, could be. Yeah. Main problem is, okay, if this bottom is in, what would happen? Yeah. My main problem right now is when people are giving you timings. Yeah, because in that moment, in that situation right now, saying it will be 100% end of March, 100% end of April, 100% May, it's just guessing. Only because 2024 and 2025 were May is for me personally just guessing. Why? Because as long as we don't even found the bottom, I can't say how long the higher low and how long the A could take. Yeah? First of all, we need the shitty button we are all waiting for. Yeah? Hopefully this Friday. Maybe we need a full week. I mean, we all know how this works. Yeah? We already saw that AMC moved a full week with 0% change. The full week. We already saw that. Yeah? The AMC just did this or just did this. Already happened. We already saw AMC doing 1 cent a day. We also saw that. Yeah? So we are waiting for the shit button. Yeah? Then we can track further. Okay. Next one is BYND. Before we start with micro tracking, which someone of you wished that we do that, for the full package, also I will link the roadmap video at the end. Today we just look into micro tracking. So let's zoom in. So first of all, before we go into micro tracking, a little warning. The fractal method is made for you start with the weekly chart, so you get the whole full story, so you don't make the same mistake like me, like DJT, C3.AI and BULL. Then you go on the 24-hour chart, so you can have the after hours and pre-market also in the tracking. Then you can go on the 4-hour for more details, and then you go on the 1 hour 30 minute for micro tracking. But I tell you, it's not a good idea to track every move on the 5-minute to micro tracking. It is possible, but two things. First of all, the errors margin possibilities to making mistakes is very high on the micro tracking. Second, I tell you, you will get insane. And I will show you that in a second. So, first of all, what are we tracking for BYND? For BYND, for the bullish tracking, October 16 was our all-time low. And since October till February 6, this was our higher low. And it's already finished. And now we are on the way to our A. And our A should be over 15 to 25. And for my bullish tracking, I am still the opinion, no financial advice, we get latest to this target April 12 to April 23. For the bearish tracking, yeah, which I don't think so, but you always should have an alternative. You're breaking to the downside and you make a new low. And this here was just your T. This would be the absolute bearish version, which I really don't think so. But the not so bearish version would be for levels, as already showed in the last video. If you break downside from here, and especially if you touch or break 21 cents, then this breakout here can't be A. Then this is just our higher low. And it is the higher low of this T. Yeah. Then you will break down here and you most likely will fill the gap between 66 and 65 cents. And then the only thing you have to do is bounce here and not touch 64. If you touch 64 cents, that's bad. Not thinking then yet, but always look for these levels. So first thing we have to do is not touching 71 cents. Then everything is fine. So for the bullish tracking, and especially for the micro tracking and for the levels which confirm upside. For the bullish tracking, our higher low was ended February 5th. Then we made one higher low, another higher low, a third higher low. Yeah, this is just time consuming, nothing more. Because fractal wise, you only need one higher low. Yeah, this is just time consuming. Then you broke out of the trend. This trend, I mean the trend from December 1st. This was your okay, I already got problems in the German video how to label these things. So we made our tiny A. Then we made our pullback of our tiny A. And A's always make a pullback 0.5 or 0.618. And again, you don't have to bounce on these fib levels. You can bounce a little bit over it, on it, or under it. Only exception for this is A and B aren't allowed to touch or break the 786. That's fact, 100%. Yeah. But the 0.5 and the 0.618, you can touch, break, or bounce over it. That's okay. Good. For the bullish tracking, here, perfect break out retest. Then we go even lower. So here's our V. First main higher low with it. Under trend, under T, perfect main higher low. It's the same thing like this here. Then we added another micro higher low. Yeah? Just time consuming. And then today and yesterday, no, only today, we broke out. Yeah? Two higher highs. First of all, we start from this V because that's important for this tiny A. And what I mean with tiny A, this A is even smaller than this one. Yeah, I will come to that in a second. But first higher low is this, under the 786, perfect. Second one was this, taken from here to here, also under the 786, perfect. Then you broke out, pullback, breakout retest on the line, bounce at the 0.5. So perfect for tiny A. Then you bounced and went up to your B. Then you take from your A point to your B peak, 0.5 bounce, perfect B. At least till after hours close. Let's see what happens tomorrow. For the bullish tracking, what is the next move? You run up to your tiny C. Yeah? This tiny C would be over this T, would be over 84 cents. This would be tiny A. This A is bigger than this A. Yeah? Then you do your 0.5 or 0.618 pullback, run up to your tiny B. This tiny B is over 89 cents. So before we go further in this micro tracking, these are the two levels I want to break. 48 cents is already good, yeah, because this could already say invalid the bearish tracking. If you break 89 cents, for me, the down tracking is off the table, because you could still say, if you come up here, that this was your T, and you still have to go lower. Yeah, but if you come up here, you have no place to put your M anymore. So if you break 89 cents, for me, the bearish tracking is off the table. but 84 cents is a good start already. Okay. After you did this B and this pullback, you run up again to your C. This C, and that's why I say don't micro-tracking everything. You will get crazy. This C is the A of this following move. And then you do again 0.5, 0.618 pullback, and then you go up to your B. And also in this uptrend here, you have again a tiny A, B, C. Then you do your 0.5 pullback from your A. Then you go up to your middle A. And this middle A is then the A of this. No, sorry, that would be wrong. This would be then the A of the whole higher low move of, of this move. Then you do your 0.5, 0.168 pullback. Then you do it again. A, B, C. And you go up to your B. This would be then your B of this higher low. And after that, you go to your middle C. And this middle C is the C of the big macro A. The A for this whole thing. That's what I mean with don't try, or not try it. After a while, you don't have to track it. You just see it if you do it on a lot of stocks. But you will get crazy. That's what I mean. Because you can even go on the 1 second. I tell you, you will get crazy. And that's one important thing. Of course, if we're doing the slowest fucking shit squeeze we could get, rules one by one, we do all this. I just don't think so. Why? Just because if you look at BYND, at every main letter we have, C, L, M, T, higher low. We never did this. We always did our little higher low, and then we ran. Little higher low, ran. Bigger higher low, ran. Little tiny higher low, ran. Of course, you will find on the 1 second, 5 minute, 10 minute, your A's and B's here. But it was still a straight line. That's why don't get crazy with micro tracking if you want to stay sane. One last thing for side by side, where we could be. Left side is October of 2025. Right side is now. And here we have, it's similar. We have here two ways we could say it is. First of all, the bearish version where you will touch 71 cents. In that case, I would imagine you are something right here, right now. Means you have to touch 71 cents. You will fill this little shitty gap here. And this would be this time. Then you do a little micro high low, and then you do this move, and then the big move. This would be the bearish version. The bullish version, in my opinion, is you already did this. This isn't looking like the same, but these are high lows, and these ones are higher lows. And you have two ways. First of all, you did this breakout retest here, and you would be right now here, or you already did this breakout retest here. Back then, if you look, you came higher a little bit, just a tiny bit. Here you nearly came higher, but that doesn't have to mean anything. Some of my colleagues are tracking us right now here, or even say here. But all in all, it looks bullish. It's just levels. It's really the only important thing right now is levels. And that means touching 71 cents, you will get there to the downside. Breaking over 84 cents, bullish. Breaking over 89 cents, very bullish. Yeah? That's my levels. And as long as we are very bullish, I would still say April 12th to April 23. No financial advice. And I wouldn't microtrack this. Just a warning. Okay, next one is NEO. And also for NEO, if you want the full story, just watch the linked video at the end of the video. Today, we just look what we have done. And I already said that sadly only one day before earnings, this shit looks fucking nice. And we should go up. Yeah? And we got a nice push on earnings. The thing is, now we are pulling back. What does that mean? Squeeze over. Thing is, no. If you look, this whole thing, since July till today, was just our A and A pullback. The pullback, in my opinion, was finished on February 2nd this year, because from our V to our peak, perfect 618 pullback. Then higher low, and we broke out. And we went over over T. This is our perfect tiny A. Because of micro tracking again. So, first of all, if we're taking rules one by one, we will do now a breakout retest. Means we go back to the 0.5 or the 618. Means $5.07 or $4.90. Then to our B, which should be over 630, pullback, and then we go to our main target. And our main target is still, after this little price action here, our big B. Yeah? And our big B should be around 16 to 25. And in my opinion, no financial advice, this should happen somewhere between April 5th till June 29th. 0.5 pullback, and then we're going to all-time highs. But, one big but, here we have NEO side by side. Left side is now, right side is 2019 September till October 2020. And I already showed it in the last video, in the big video. Even without fractal tracking, this thing is one by one. You have your V, you have your V. You have your higher low, you have your higher low. You have your breakout, you have your breakout. You have your head and shoulders. You have your head and shoulders. You have your 0.618 pounds, perfect. Also, 2019, you had your perfect 0.618 pullback and bounce. And then you made these bounces. Yeah? And if we look back here, there are two ways, in my opinion. First one, if you see you're over this T here, you're over this T here. So in my opinion, you're right now in this pullback here. Yeah, this is this pullback. But back then, this wasn't a 0.5. In that case, you should bounce now-ish. Yeah? In that case, you won't go to the 0.5, 0.6, you would bounce somewhere in this range. Yeah? Whatever we are doing, as long as we're not breaking downside here, we are somewhere in this thing here, in my opinion. And the thing is with this price target here, with B over 16, if we look what happened back then here, I mean, this here is your A, yeah? And back then you had a little pullback at your M line. Yeah? This is this M line here. But this wasn't a 0.5. The same as this little thing here, where we are right now, wasn't a 0.5. This here wasn't a 0.5 pullback. Yeah? So If we're really doing the same thing, I would say we're not doing the 0.5 here either. It will be a little pullback, but just a small one. Yeah? And this is just upside. Yeah? So NEO right now looks fantastic. Yeah. Okay, good. And last one, because someone wished it, is HIMS. So I know why people want to see this, because everywhere you put in HIMS, short interest, there will be a short squeeze, blah, 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 blah. I have a perfect bullish version for you. I have, sadly, a perfect bearish version for you. Let's start with the bullish one. With the bullish one, HIMS started its IPO to run to its M. Then T, all-time low, May 2022. Then you did your higher low. Then you did your A. Also, if you look, perfect 0.5 pullback. Also over your T. Then you did your B. Also here from A bottom to B peak near the 0.5, but still perfect 0.5 bounce. And then you ran to your C. This is a top. This is 100% a top. But if we look at this from our bottom to our top, we bounced perfectly at the 0.5. So for the bullish version, this could only mean one thing. This here was an A. This here was a macro B. That means the pullback of B is finished. And you will go up to your C. That's the bull version. Yeah, nothing to say there anymore. I mean, you still can do A pullback, B pullback, and then you go to your C. Yeah, as normal for micro tracking, but this would be the overall thing. But, and that's the big but, what if this isn't B? Yeah, that's the main problem. You have one very important level here. I'm showing that in the tutorial, but it's the BM line. What I mean with that, you're taking a trend line from your B bottom with the most touch points. Yeah? That means you won't go over this trend line. Yeah? And you could even add this one. Yeah? So what I mean with that, here's your C. Your lower high is starting here. This whole thing is your lower high. Yeah? Because always the ladder is starting at a low and is finished when it's doing a lower low. No, but never here you did a lower low. Here was the finish of this, for the bearish tracking, of this lower low, a lower high. Means this is the start of M. Means you will come up here and somewhere in this range you will reject. And this will be your midpoint. After that, you will fall, and M is most of the time the most brutal one and will break this level. So what would be the next level then? Well, if this isn't B, this could be A. And this was just macro higher low. In that case, your next bounce target is the 618. And you bounce here. In that case, you will go down, up, make a little T, and then you will fall to the 0.618. If you bounce here, perfect. You go to your B. Break always also this level. Problem is if you're breaking this level also, because then you will go to the 786. Just saying. You have to do a V and a A, and this whole thing here was your C. And that's the tricky part with HIMS right now, because I would see upside. Doesn't matter if bullish tracking or bearish tracking. The tricky part is this section here. if you somewhere here see a big pullback, this was a top and you will go down. Yeah. And I mean, I hope I'm wrong. Yeah. I am tending more to the bear version. Really, just saying. Yeah. This looks perfect for a really, really top. And to say that, I would think you're doing right now this. Yeah, for this. You could even see up here, pull back and then up. Yeah, this would be this. Yeah, that would be even the more shitty part. But if you reject here, I tell you, you can track this downfall. Yeah, you could even do that. Wait a second. Bar pattern. This will look like this. I will extend it here. I will let's make that perfect. Not. So we would do this to this. Yeah. I will let that stand. So we have confirmation for later. Yeah. For levels to the upside, just to make that clear. If you break this level, especially, I would say if you break, yeah, if you break $60, I'm wrong again. But if you reject here, yeah, you will do this. Let's see. Okay. Oh my god, was a long video again. As always, tutorial video or explanation video for the method here, playlist here. The big video for BYND and AMC, especially and for Neo, will be back here. As always, if you liked it, leave a like. If you want to see more, oh, let's see what happens this week. See ya.